Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a general reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Taurus, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, you can find that information in my Buy Me a Coffee link, my official Instagram and TikTok, all listed in the About section of my YouTube page, and I thank you so much in advance. Taurus, I hope you're doing well and having a wonderful start to your year. I'm going to be using 2 decks for your reading today. For the overall energy, the What We've Forgotten Oracle deck, and for the tarot portion, the Light Seers Tarot. The cards have been pre-shuffled. Spirit just said burdensome Palo Santo. So I will. Sorry, that was a quarter that just fell. I found 50 cents on the way home from work the other day. And anytime I find any kind of anything on the ground that I intend to take with me, whether it's coins or just something that I find fascinating, I always put it on a piece of selenite to cleanse it, right? Because it once belonged to someone else. And so could be something to that. Maybe you found something recently that you brought home that Spirit is asking you to cleanse its energy. I don't know. The year on both of these quarters is 2023, so that year could be significant to you. Okay, this is for Taurus. Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. What messages do you have for Taurus, please? Overall energy for Taurus. Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. There is a card flipped over in the deck. Wow. Number 32, which reduces to a 5. The Hierophant card of the Major Arcana, Taurus energy. Taurus, you showed up in your own reading. Very significant when the Major Arcana card for you shows up. Now, the card itself is not on the table, but the reference to it is. It shows me that I'm reading for the Taurus collective and I'm tapping into their energy, your energy. And the words are unconditional love. How does that strike you, Taurus? Would it surprise you to know that you're unconditionally loved by the divine? Would that surprise you? Would that surprise you given everything that you've been through? Would that surprise you given all the trials and tribulations, right? And at the end of the day, there is kind of no greater love that you'll have in your life that is as unconditional as the one from the divine. Now, I'm not saying if that's true or not true. That is just the message that came out of my mouth, the one that I was channeling. I think it's true for me personally. Do I feel unconditional love for things in the world? I do. My pets. That's about it. My pets. But it's unconditional love. Unconditional. They have scratched me. They have bitten me. They have just caused me a lot of headaches. Could not love them more if I tried. Okay? So, but Spirit is just really wanting to tap into that, and it's almost like they want to challenge you, maybe because you've been questioning that lately because of something you've been through. But there's this kind of higher order, this divine wisdom. It's almost like it's being, I feel like this pyramid is, it feels like kind of like an electronic device, and somehow there's this current that's happening, like an electrical current that's being kind of zipped around between all of these gears and cogs and devices, and it feels very electrified when I look at it. I almost feel as though these cogs are moving, but they're moving so fast that they seem like they're standing still. Have you ever experienced that? Whenever you see a car on the road, I'm a passenger princess. I cannot drive. So I'm always on the passenger side, so I can always stare out the window. And sometimes when you look at the car beside you, it almost appears as if the wheel is still, even though the cars are in motion. I don't remember what that effect is called. There's a scientific explanation for it. But it's because it's like you and the other car are moving at precisely the same rate, and so everything looks still. It's just like when you see a plane in the sky. Now, I don't know with all the world events happening right now, but there is an effect of when you are traveling at the same kind of rate of speed relative to the perception of an airplane or whatever, it can look like the plane is hovering in the sky as you are passing it. It's very strange. I've experienced this. It's a very strange effect, but this is what Spirit is giving me right now. It's almost as if you are not perceiving. Okay, I got it. It's like you're not perceiving change or progress or love. It appears to be stagnant or standing still, but it's because you are approaching and coming into alignment with it. And it's just this one last push where it's almost as if you and the divine become one. You and your higher aspect become one. You become in alignment with the frequency of the universe. And so when you become the universe, you are the universe, but when you can perceive that you are becoming part of the universe, you can't tell yourself apart from it. And so it doesn't look like anything is happening because it's just you. Everywhere, you. Maybe the key is the unconditional love for self. That could be the key. Very heady. Let's get to the tarot. I'm going to pull 3 cards for the base spread, 3 cards for clarifier, past, present, future. Now, I wanted to pull past, present, future reading for Virgo, but Spirit was very adamant that I read the cards differently for them. So I'm saying past, present, future. We shall see what Spirit wants. Okay. Got 2 major arcanas. Past, present, and future. Yes, thank you, Spirit. Just want to preempt it by saying here's the Hierophant card. Hierophant came out in your reading. This is for Taurus. Past energy. 4 of Pentacles. Do we see here this character kind of looking to the side, like eyes closed. Very, it's almost like whenever I see this card, just because of her hair, I'm thinking of like the wind. It's like I can, it's almost like I can feel the wind blowing against her face. Her eyes are closed. It's like she's surrendering to that force. She's enveloping it with her. She's taking a pause. Like, it really kind of imagine that in your mind's eye, that you're outside and that you're holding on to something very dearly. You're just holding on to very dearly, something that maybe like a material object that really matters to you. And you're just closing your eyes and you're just allowing Mother Nature, the forces of nature, to just kind of gently blow past you. Thank you, Spirit. So I don't know if you heard the car honking. It's still happening. There's something to it. When I closed my eyes, actually, honestly, I got a vision of somebody in a graveyard. Now, I'm not saying anybody is, if a person has passed, you already know about it and it's already happened. I'm not a predictor of these things. But like, if you remember, let's say, you know, it's like your great grandma and she passed away 10 years ago or something, but you loved her and you go to her grave or whatever, or you don't go to her grave, you just remember her. It's almost like there's something, like you have her old purse or something and it's your most prized possession because it reminds you of her. And there's just some wave that comes over you and you're sitting in the park and you're just thinking about her and the wind blows against your face. And there's this melancholy and yet gratitude. And so this is the energy that I'm feeling for your past energy, Taurus, that there have been things that you have gone through. And parts of you feels like you made it out with just the purse in your hand, right? Just the pentacles, the 4 pentacles that you have. And yet immense gratitude in the space of pause, in the space of contemplation for everything, even the things that caused you grief, annoyance, right? Just absolute gratitude because it got to where you are, got you to where you are now. 4 of Pentacles traditionally talks about holding on very tightly to things, and sometimes it can be to our detriment, right? If we hold on too tightly, then we can kind of stifle energy a little bit. We don't want to grip so hard that our knuckles turn white, right? But I'm not feeling that in this card. I'm feeling just gratitude. But I'm feeling reflection on what it is that is currently in your possession, in your company right now. It is clarified by the Hierophant, your card, Major Arcana, number 5. This is a beautiful card. This is a beautiful rendition of the Hierophant. The Hierophant is, so I was watching Cult Mother. If you've ever seen Cult Mother, she's just one of the most incredible tarot readers. I don't think she has a YouTube, but she's like very heavy on Instagram. And she's very sassy. I love her. She's very sassy. But the way that she reads tarot feels very rooted in the here and now. Like, I wouldn't say that there's all sorts of ways to read tarot. There's no right or wrong way. But when I think of her reading tarot, I relate to it so deeply because she makes it relatable to the everyday struggle of you and me and the world around us and the things that we have to deal with in the day-to-day. And to me, she can represent a kind of Hierophant energy because she, like so many other readers and mediums out there, she's a conduit for channeled messages from spirit. She's an intermediary, just as I would be an intermediary for some. The Hierophant is somebody who has that connection to spirit, and it's typically known as the Pope of the Tarot, but it could be anyone in your life that represents that conduit intermediary presence, where they can connect to spirit in a way that speaks to you in your own emotional, intellectual language, allows you to see the parts of yourself that are light and shadow, and to work on those things. When the card is in reverse, it kind of tells me that you might be breaking from a person or a concept, a teaching that was once something you held in high esteem, that you are really reevaluating at this time. Like, I don't want to say, you know, it's hard though, right? Because like we're holding on tightly, but there's this part of you, these they kind of pull at one another, because they kind of tell me that, like, it's very hard to let go of our beliefs if we've grown up with them our whole lives. And then one day we wake up and we think to ourselves, why did I ever believe I was not worthy, less than, needed to compare myself to others, not able to do something, whatever, like some narrative, you know, that I only could succeed in one path, that I couldn't do multiple things, whatever it is for you. I feel like there's something here that is, you know, it's almost like you're feeling such gratitude for the lessons, but almost like you want to let those lessons go now. But you're going to pay homage to them one last time. That feels very heavy, Taurus, I gotta tell you. Because so something happened to me recently, and Spirit's showing it to me now, where I had to make a decision about a person in my life that I allowed to kind of broach my personal boundaries just one too many times, and have now made the decision to let that person go, energetically, physically, everything. And it's awful, because you share memories and experiences and bonding experiences with a person that it's hard to let go sometimes. But I understand where this space and place of gratefulness could come from, because that person taught me many lessons. But they're not going to continue to teach me the same ones, right? I'm here to learn a whole gamut of things, not just repeat cycles. That's devil energy. I'm not going to allow that person who tested my boundaries time and time and time again to continue to do that. So there were some narratives that I had to let go of, and Spirit is just giving that to me as an example, to convey to you that we want to cling on so tightly to things sometimes, but we can still be in a place of gratefulness and let it go. So that could just be it. That might not resonate for everybody, but I still, no matter what, see this space of gratitude. And it's always a good space to be in, just for the record. That will catapult you, right? I see this upward thrust for you, that, like, being in that space of gratitude just fast tracks and aligns you to your path. And isn't that what it's all about, right? Thank you, Spirit. There's a little car honk there. In the present energy, the Hanged Man in reverse, number 12, Virgo energy, your sister sign. The Hanged Man in reverse talks about, you know, dialing everything back down. Like we could have looked at the bigger picture, been the bigger person, Spirit just said. We could have been the bigger person, and now and looked at the whole situation objectively. But now it's time to kind of bring it back down to earth, bring it back down to something that is more localized. Spirit is usually using that word specifically because I don't usually use that word in this context. A localized experience for you, like a personal experience that we need to really come back towards the self, as opposed to being up in the clouds and looking down at a situation like the Hanged Man would tend to do in the upright. Because we're looking at something very clearly with the Death and Rebirth card. Number 13 of the major arcana, this is Scorpio. 12 and 13 came out next to each other. That is very significant. When cards are next to each other in a reading that come in succession, it shows an up-leveling. It shows progression. The Death and Rebirth card talks about endings bringing new beginnings and the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's this sense that we are, in a way, reborn, rejuvenated, revitalized, reimagined. Spirit just said reimagined. It's like walking into a new job and reinventing yourself, or walking into a new school where nobody knows you and kind of dawning a new identity. But that new identity is not something that is fake. It's kind of like the idea of quantum jumping into a new timeline of your life. It's not fake. It's just evolution on your part. You shed a skin. You've become a whole new person that isn't in alignment with who you are at your core. Divinely speaking, at your core. Right? You can see this light here. It's radiating out. That's precisely it. It's the work of the light worker. It's the mission of the light worker to radiate your unique light in your environment, in the world. Because the closer and closer and closer you get to your divinity, the more beautiful your energy becomes, and the more powerful it becomes, and the more unstoppable it becomes. That's what's going on in your present energy. So good for you. In the future potential, 8 of Cups, 10 of Swords, both in reverse. So this feels stagnant. These two cards like this feel very, very stagnant. 8 of Cups is walking away from a situation that does not serve you. 10 of Swords is a leveling. And in this deck, walking into the sunrise, like a new day dawning. The issue that I see here in your future potential is maybe like a tendency to, Spirit just said a very particular phrase. Don't look back in anger. I think that's the name of like a movie or a book or a line from a poem or something. I don't know where it's from. I don't know where Spirit got it out of the recesses of my brain, the Rolodex in my brain. Don't look back in anger, Spirit said. This is like looking back over your shoulder one last time. You got to be careful with this. This is future potential energy. Don't get sucked back into any kind of cycles of repeat. Hey, we're quantum jumping here. We don't want to lose the momentum. The issue is that we have free will and we can do what we want. The Spirit, this is almost like a little bit of a warning, right? It's not like something bad's gonna happen per se. It's more about just like delaying. It's like delaying your destiny, delaying your path. We don't want to delay anymore. Can I have a card of advice from Spirit, please? This is for Taurus. Queen of Wands in reverse. Yeah. Don't forget your own personal beauty, your confidence, your creativity, your power. There's some fear. It's cropping up at the end here. I think it has to do with this rebirth. There's some fear that is trying to seep through the cracks. Okay, I'm getting a very specific image right now. You know, there's this like Japanese craftsmanship thing where if there's like a broken bowl, then and you have all the pieces, and there are these craftsmen and women, I assume they're mostly men though, that try to piece the bowl back together, and they do it with like special ceramics and gold, so that when the bowl is put back together so meticulously and beautifully, that it's even stronger and more beautiful than as a formerly broken piece than it was when it was whole. Okay, it's called I don't remember what it's called. It starts with a K. It's in Japanese. Spirit is showing that to me as representing you and your life. That there's these broken pieces, as there are in most people's lives, right? That we always have to try to piece ourselves back together, like Humpty Dumpty, right? Piece ourselves back together. And at the points of fracture, every time there's a fracture, we piece ourselves back together. That is kind of this one beautiful, triumphant energy in between the cracks. And it's happening again, right? With this rebirth card. This rebirth is the thing that is that gold paint and that application of glue and putting the pieces back together so that they're even stronger, even more potent and more beautiful than they were before. There's that realization of that. And yet the fear comes in that somehow, thank you, Spirit, there's a seepage in the crack, that something is going to leak, that something that is, because it wasn't what it was before, but somehow something is going to get lost. Something is going to spill out. Something is going to leak. Something is going to be forgotten. And thank you, Spirit. I'm getting there. So, Spirit is reminding you, don't allow this fiery, beautiful energy to be lost. It's energy. It's not, see here in the upright, it's not seeping through her fingers. It's sitting perfectly within her hand. That's your personal power. And the only way that it can be lost is if you forget your personal power. So whatever this situation is that you are trying to keep in the past, the way that you keep it in the past is that you let it be back there and you don't turn around. That's your reading, Taurus. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Taurus.